Okay, welcome back to open session, everyone. Were there any actions taken in closed session?
No, there were no
No
actions.
actions? Well, first, we will have an invocation led by trustee Jamal and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Board President Marcia Milchiker, that's me. Thank you.
Well, that was a nice light note.
Yeah.
What I have to say is not so light, unfortunately. I'm always troubled why there's so much hate. Hate based on culture, religion, land, ethnicity, race, gender expression, countless other reasons. Hate really has no place anywhere. We are a nation of ideals, and our inspiration and moral foundation derives from our freedoms, our civil liberties, due process, right to exist without constant fear, and deprivation of fundamental human rights. I see our faculty association, academic freedom is part of those rights we cherish so much. But sadly, there is a lot of hate in the world. And I look to the words of Martin Luther King, who said, quote, "Returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Hate multiplies hate, violence multiplies violence, and toughness multiplies toughness in a descending spiral of destruction," end quote. And he went on to say, and quote, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends," end quote. In our small circle of the world, South Orange County Community College District, I see more love than hate, more light than darkness, more inspiration in the amazing education we provide to our students. So I ask each of us today, and those watching, to never be silent in the face of hate. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will have a Pledge of Allegiance of the flag of our great country. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And at this time, we have two people that wanted to have public comments. And the first one is Robert Flournoy. Flournoy, thank you. Yeah, could you please come up?
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Great. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Robert Flournoy. I've been a dedicated classified employee at IVC for 26 years, and I want to thank the board for allowing me to speak. Before I explain why I'm here, I would like to review a few words that describe the treatment of which I was wrongly subjected in July 2021. The first word is hostile, antagonistic, intimidating, and harassing. Second word is bullying, intentionally acting to instill fear, inferiority, and inflict psychological trauma on a person as defined by Dr. Namey and Namey of the Workplace Bullying Institute. This unhealthy abuse flies in the face of the district's policy and its concern for the health of employees. Upon returning to work in July of 2021, I met on Zoom with Kim Wittes, Executive Director of Human Resources. Our meeting was to discuss the findings of an investigation which I was subject. I have to honestly say Ms. Wittes' behavior was hostile. Right out of the gate, she bullied, and it was highly offensive. Here is a few of her statements. I read the report. We didn't have enough evidence to fire you. I felt this was inappropriate and quite threatening. Is this an acceptable practice in employee-employee relationship at South Orange County Community College District? Second one, if you haven't heard, I'm not Teddy Lorch. I believe this was meant to bully and intimidate me. As I understood, she was telling me, I'm the one. I don't mess around. You better fear me. Have you not heard of what I'm capable of doing? These are just a few examples. I honestly believe her approach and tone were quite unbecoming of an HR executive. I've never felt so uncomfortable and personally under siege as this meeting with Ms. Wittes. I pose my question again, is this an acceptable practice in employee-employee relationships at the district? Respectfully, and in my opinion, Ms. Wittes unnecessarily created a hostile work environment. I was not in a meeting to hear her be her punching bag. I was there to be informed about the findings of a report and learn how to correct myself, not to be figuratively clobbered over the head and hear her personal opinions of me. My purpose for addressing the board is to request a written apology from Ms. Wittes for an unacceptable conduct. I want it sent to my email and to be placed in both our personal files. In closing, I would appreciate the opportunity to further discuss this matter with the board in order to provide better understanding and answer my questions. I am also concerned about retaliation that may occur for by publicly addressing the board. I am requesting that there be no workplace harassment resulting from what I've said or from what others may say. I appreciate your time and thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And next, John Scaringe.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is John Scaringe. I'm the president of Southern California University of Health Sciences, located in Whittier, California. And I'm here tonight to introduce our university. We have been working with representatives from the Advanced Technology and Education Park to relocate our campus to the ATEP site. SCU is a private, nonprofit health science university established in 1911 and accredited by WASC Senior Colleges and University Commission. The university has about 1,600 students, 350 employees contributing to the local and state economy. We are a graduate, first professional degree granting institution and would complement, not necessarily compete, against your degree and certificate programs. In fact, we have met with President Stern and Hernandez along with their academic administrative teams, and we are excited about the possible program affiliations and educational pathways for the district students. We also believe our extensive community outreach, healthcare programs will benefit the district by including the community college health science students within our outreach efforts. We are leaving some information about the university with your staff and hope that you can review those. I want to thank you for allowing us to introduce ourselves, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. So nice to meet you all.
Well, thank you, and welcome to ATEP, and welcome to our community college family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at this next time, we have board reports. So would you like to start, Trustee Wright? Or if you have a report?
I just have two reports here. One is that this is at Saddleback College. Mars rover team heads to final competition. Saddleback College Mars rover team will be the only community college to amplify among 36 finalists, presenting 10 countries at the 2022 University Rover Challenge at the Mars Desert reached station in Hankville, Utah, on June 1 through 4. The team consists of multiple STEM disciplines: physics, chemistry, computer science, biology, astronomy, and business, with 15 students and 3 advisors: Dr. Mitch Herrera, Dr. Jim Repka, and Dr. Tony Huntley, who I know very well, these 3. They're wonderful, wonderful advisors. And then I want to also talk for something about at IVC. IVC students, participants in the 22nd Annual UCI Community College Honor Resorts Conference. 60 IVC students, supported by IVC Honor Program, participated in the 22 Annual UCI Community College Honors Research Conference on March 26, 2022. IVC students delivered 32 oral presentations and 13 poster presentations, comprising 45 of the 188 total resource projects presented, the greatest number out of the 30 participating colleges statewide. Thank you.
Two very exciting projects. Okay, Trustee Prendergast, do you have a board report?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you and acknowledge how much I'm looking forward to this Saturday evening's Australia Awards. The last time we attended them, they were phenomenal, and I assume that they will be just the same this time. So thank you again for inviting us to that, and I look forward to that. Other than that, I don't have any other
Okay, thank
report.
you. And thank you, Trustee Whit-Rydell. I'm looking forward to it too also. Trustee Whit-Rydell.
I have no report tonight.
What? I'll tell you later, okay?
Okay.
Trustee Jamal, okay?
I just want to say what a joy it is to see this room full of people. You may not be happy to see us, but we're happy to see you. And it's been a while, and it's great to have you all here. And I think my board members will not be unhappy if I don't go my full 2 minutes this month. I do have more to say during resolutions, but welcome back to everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Trustee Jay, do you have anything?
On Thursday, May 5th, I am looking forward to celebrating excellence at the IVC Foundation Awards Dinner. This is their annual gala that raises funds in support of students and programs at IVC. Sponsorships and tickets are available on the IVC Foundation website. If you are unable to join us in person, please consider placing a commemorative ad in the program booklet. They start at $125. There is another way to participate. At the end of April, their silent auction will go live online. From what I've heard, there will be a multitude of items. Everything from a stay on the Oregon coast to a pie a month from Polly's Pies to jewelry and purses. Anyone can participate, and remember that every bid you place is an investment in our students. I also want to take a minute to congratulate the IVC Foundation on their success securing new endowments. I recently learned that a team has secured 10 new endowments since the beginning of the fiscal year. For those of you who are not aware, when you establish an endowment, the funds are invested. Each year, the foundation board approves a payout that supports our students, but they do not touch the principal. This ensures that the endowment provides a reliable stream of income perpetually. It is a wonderful way to invest in our students, the college, and the community. I personally have endowments at both Saddleback and IVC. Please join me in supporting this wonderful cause. Thank you.
And Trustee Inman.
Hi, it's wonderful to see all these people. This is my first opportunity sitting here to have actual live people, and it's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much. I enjoy participating in legislation at all levels, whether it's informative or actually going up and talking to people. And so we did a little bit of that this month. I was part of a group that met with Congressman Mike Levin to talk about the priorities of our priorities and his, and see where that intermeshed, and hope that he will continue to help us. And also, the Orange County Community Colleges Legislative Task Force met, and that's the 4 districts, and we have consultants that tell us what's going on. So that's a lot of interesting things, that meeting. But I really want to congratulate the lady next to me here, Satara Mateen, for her year as student trustee. It's been a joy and an honor to sit next to you and get to know you, and I wish you well as you proceed. I also want to congratulate the Teachers of the Year, and I've never seen a district that did it quite like this, and I think it's wonderful. There's always at most schools a full-time teacher of the year, but I really appreciate the fact that you also choose the part-time teacher and the emeritus teacher. I think that's just wonderful, so congratulations to them. The fun thing that I did this time was a week ago Saturday, I took my granddaughter Shannon to see Oliver at Irvine Valley College. And the school flyer stated that Oliver is a musical theater masterpiece, perfectly showcasing the talents of a large ensemble cast, et cetera. And they just did exactly that. It was wonderful. I asked her afterwards, for a review, because she's 9 and it was kids in the show, and she said it was great, that she did like Hamilton a little bit better, but only a little bit. So everyone did a marvelous job, and I look forward to more performances at both of our colleges. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I love our performances. Well, as many of the board members said, this is the first board meeting back together since February 2020. And so everybody, welcome back, and I'm delighted to see all of you here. And I have to thank all of our incredible professors, administrators, classified staff, and of course our stupendous students for all of your resilience and grit through this pandemic. I know it was hard. You had to learn new skills, new ways of coping, and some of you experienced the loss of loved ones. That is the most difficult thing of all. But I want to congratulate all of you for our college's culture of caring. We're here for one purpose, and that's to help our students succeed. So sincere thanks to all of you. Well, I picked up my plants that I purchased at the Saddleback College Horticulture Department at the plant sale. The system was incredibly organized and well done, and my plants were gorgeous as usual and looked great in the ground. So sincere thanks to Tina Maldini and Dana Taylor. I met with Eric Hilden regarding the handshake program and employment service for our students, so thank him as well. And our AAUW selected 11 students for AAUW scholarships, and I thank Emily Kramer for her assistance on this. And I too met virtually with Assemblywoman Lori Davies and Congressman Mike Levin to help promote our college needs, and they were very receptive. I recorded a video for the IVC virtual 10-year celebration. And I just want to once again say our chancellor and 2 presidents' board reports were filled with fabulous stories of successes of staff and students. So please check them out. And I was going to mention the Saddleback College Marge Rover team. Our Saddleback is the only community college in that. They're all 4-year institutions, and our gala. But everybody else has done it so well, I don't really have to say that. So looking forward to seeing you at the gala, the scholarship ceremonies, and the 2 commencements this month. Okay, thank you. And now, our wonderful student trustee, Satara Mateen, do you have a report?
Yeah, I think everyone pretty much summed it up. Our IVC gala is super important for our students. I was able to attend the Saddleback one, and I saw how important it was to support our students. And I'm just really excited to see everyone in person for my last meeting. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. And now we're going on to the staff's reports. So first, the students' reports, our most important people here. Sam Lockhart from Saddleback College.
It's good to be here, and it's good seeing you in person, trustees, and likewise to my counterpart, David, ASIVC over here. A lot of good stuff happening at Saddleback. We could talk about elections. First of all, we have our president-elect, Gloria Lee, in the audience here. She is going to be taking over for me in the 22-23 year. ASG is doing some stuff with Assembly Bill 132, which deals with LGBTQIA service funding, and also working on housing on campus a little bit. We have a voting outreach event on May 9th. We're looking forward to that, hopefully getting some pizzas to the campus and everything to get some attention to that. Of course, graduation's on May 26th. We're gonna make that as good as we can and work with student development to make that pretty. We're facilitating a critical race theory workshop coming up on April 29th. Our Iris, our academic rep, can talk more about that. And honors is doing really good. We got a lot of good stuff, a lot of studying space for the honors program, and on all fronts, it's good to be back. It's good seeing that we've seen the worst through the pandemic, and that we're going to be okay from here on out. Thanks for hearing me out. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You're doing an enormous amount. That's great. Thank you. And Sam Lockhart from Saddleback. I'm sorry, Sam No, I just did you. D'Angelo Hunter, I knew I just, D'Angelo Hunter from IVC. Sorry, D'Angelo, I do know you very well, sorry.
Totally fine, totally.
Okay,
Great to see you all in person. I am ecstatic to be here and like looking at everyone across the room. It's like an amazing feeling, especially considering it's like one of the last meetings. Anyways, good luck to transferring and whatnot. First off, foundation dinner. I do want to mention that as well. Save me a dance if you, Barbara, please. And speaking of Mike Levin, we presented our resolution for the GI Bill, and he sits on the GI Bill Oversight Committee. So a lot of advocacy coming from our district to Mike Levin involving those. And speaking of those resolutions, the SSCCC that I keep bringing up, pronoun inclusivity, the GI Bill resolution to lower the requirements for in-state, and then also bringing down the required hours. And then there's several other ones that we got. We introduced a new resolution as well, which is the disability rights resolution that we would want to further our education on campus. And that was something that we just did at our last meeting. Some of the events coming up, we have our Guided Pathway Summit, which is on the 22nd, which is a big event on campus. It always has like a lot of turnout, and it goes over different like pretty much pathways to furthering your education, whether you're a first generation or you're going down a STEM path. It kind of like lays out that pathway. And then we're doing a leadership transitioning training. So like everyone that was elected in our elections that happened earlier, we've started training them up so they'll be prepared for the roles next term and be able to pick it up as soon as possible. And then lastly, I just want to mention in our last throws, in our last few meetings, we started an initiative to revive our bees garden. That garden is like probably like a comparison of the whole horticulture. I can't say that word. I've never said it out loud. That's an exciting project that can get not only faculty and students involved. We see that as like something that can be a flagship and continue on for years to come. Thank you for your time, and it's great seeing you all.
thank you, great seeing you too. It's wonderful that the students are doing so much at the college, it's great, thank you. Thank you for all you do. Okay, then Irvine Valley College Academic Senate, Daniel D. Roulet.
Good evening, Chancellor Burke and trustees, and thank you very much for your invocation. Trustee Jamal, thank you for reminding us of the words of Dr. King during these times. As we continue to celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion this month at IVC, I wanted to just bring to your attention two events that you might be interested in. D'Angelo mentioned the first. This is the Guided Pathways Summit. It's a virtual summit this Friday, April 22nd from 9 to 1. And this has the advantage of being substantially led by students this year. So we look forward to that, and we hope that you'll be able to join us, at least virtually as well. Also, on Friday, April 29th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. in Bistic 101, Dr. Laura Rendon will be joining us to discuss strong opportunities, real success, addressing equity for community college students. Dr. Rendon is a passionate advocate, particularly for low-income first-generation students. And she talks about turning hopes and dreams into realities at the community college level. So I would invite you to that as well. Also, I just want to take the opportunity to formally thank, on behalf of our Academic Senate, two members of our IVC community this year for their tremendous work in community building. The first is, of course, D'Angelo Hunter, our current IVC Student Government President, and also Desiree Ortiz, our Classified Senate President. Because of their good work and their goodwill, they've helped to build better communications and identify areas of common interest in future work at IVC, and we thank them. Thank you.
Thank you, very, very good, excellent, thank you. And next, Saddleback College Academic Senate, Margot Lovett.
Thank you, President Milchiker, and thanks to the rest of the board. Wow, we're all in person. It's pretty
That's
amazing. Next month, I will provide a summary of the work that Saddleback's Academic Senate has done this academic year. That will be my last meeting. But for this meeting, I'd like to talk about something that Trustee Inman mentioned, which is the Professors of the Year. And as we know, Saddleback's ASG finished selecting their Professor of the Year, Associate Professor of the Year, and Emeritus Professor of the Year And this honestly is a great honor, right, to be so recognized by your students. And I am, don't yet know who they are, and I can say I am very, very pleased for these three individuals, but I'm also sad because I would say that the overwhelming majority of our faculty is deserving of this honor. So I did some very unscientific research, and I'd like to tell you what students think about the people that I am proud to call my colleagues. The number one thing mentioned by students is that their professors genuinely care about them, and many describe their professors as kind and genuine. Next, they said their professors are supportive and helpful, and they push students to do their best. They give valuable feedback on papers and assignments so students can improve. For me, what I love seeing are the comments that said that their favorite professor became a mentor to them and that they decided to major in a particular subject because of that professor. They said that professors are passionate and excited about what they're teaching, and that helps students feel the same way about the subject. And students commented on the help and understanding they got from their professors during a difficult time in their lives. There are other comments I could make, but I'm going to stop here because I think that these exemplify why we go into teaching. We do it for our students. We do it for that personal connection with our students. And when any of us gets comments like these from our students, that is the best feeling in the world. And I needed to share that with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, that was beautiful. Okay, thank you. Next, the Faculty Association, Louis Lung.
Is my camera on?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
I'm
I don't know
Zoom
where the
habits die hard.
where are the cameras?
You're on mute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a little green light. I don't have a report tonight, except that I would like to acknowledge the retirement of 3 longtime faculty members whose combined service equals 90 years of service to the district. Doug Barr from Saddleback, Counselor Doug Barr, Gary Luke, who is an English composition instructor and has been around much longer than I have, and that's a long time in itself. And then Martin McGrogan, who is a cherished friend and colleague from IVC and our soccer coach, are retiring on this agenda, and we wish them well and appreciate their service.
Yeah, thank you. We're losing a lot of good people. Thank you. And then Irvine Valley College Classified Senate, Desiree Ortiz.
Good evening. It's
Good
nice to
evening.
see
Thank
everybody
you.
in person, my first meeting. So in person. So thank you so much. I wasn't able to report last meeting, but on March 17th, we held our first in-person professional development day for our classified. We made it March 17th as an intentional event to welcome back all of our classified in person. There were over 100 classified professionals there to celebrate, and President Hernandez graciously hosted our lunch and presented our service awards and our recipients in person of our first annual Caring Campus Ambassador Awards. We also hosted our first professional development tech series, the first week of, actually our week of spring break. And thank you to our IT department, Tim Van Norman, Amanda Turner, and Adam King, who hosted this. And it was a tech series each day on refreshers of the tools that we use on campus, such as Google Suite, Zoom, and how to integrate Campus into our Senate, as we know our students best communicate through Canvas. Lastly, I was asked to serve on a panel for our statewide Classified Senate Leadership Conference in June on how we integrated our caring campus culture at IVC and how we put our commitments in place to create a caring campus culture. Also, thank you to our Academic Senate, Dan Del Roulet, and our student body, D'Angelo Hunter. Without their collaboration and commitment, we really couldn't do what we do and the support that we give each other to support our students. So thank you.
That's great, that's great. Everybody was working together so beautifully, it's really wonderful. And the Caring Campus is fabulous. Okay, the California School Employees Association with Scott Ferguson Green, do you have a report?
Thank you, President Milster. First of all, I wanted to say how much it's wonderful to see everyone again, knowing that these are the people that I'll be working with again in person. I didn't realize how boring I was until you're absolutely locked down for 2 years. And I'm not really good at telling jokes at home when you're locked down. President Milchiker, you have no competition to worry about.
That's good.
But I did wanted to say that first of all, I'm very privileged to be able to work with some of my constituents. I feel very privileged that I've get a chance to work with the Classified Senate at IVC and this person right next to me, President Ortiz, as I did with past President Amy Hunter. They are just wonderful to work with, to be able to communicate, to get things done. And now at Saddleback College, we do have an active classified Senate. I want to say congratulations to those who got elected. President Michelle McDougall Jackson will be serving as the president at Saddleback College, and I want to congratulate her and her team. And she will be wonderful to work with. And so, again, the communication is going to be great, and we're going to do the best we can to represent the classified staff in all issues that may come up, both collegiate and legal, as CSEA does. We also have the California School Employees Association CSW Week, the California School Employees Week that's coming up. We're going to be celebrating with our folks at IVC in May, as well as the folks at ATEP. And then in June, we're going to be celebrating that with the folks at Saddleback College. I want you to know that I will be extending invitations to members of the Board of Trustees via email, as well as the college administration and the district administration. I will have a gavel in my hand, so unlike a very infamous holiday party, there will be no incident that will happen again like that. You are all welcome, and you all hopefully you will come to share in the celebration.
What did we miss? I don't, you can't tease us like that.
Did someone get slapped? No. No.
That was good.
Couldn't help it, couldn't help it. Oh, well. And then is Bo Arbuthnot here, the police department? No? Okay, so then there's no public hearings right now? And there's no, are there any board requests for reports? No? Okay, so next we're moving on to the resolutions. And there's 11 resolutions this month. So Trustee Whit Rydell will read the resolution. After the first resolution, I have a plaque to present
All
to
right.
the,
I have to say I'm very honored. I really am. This is wonderful. So here we go. Drum roll. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College do hereby recognize, honor, and appreciate the many contributions of Satara Martin to the district during her term as student trustee. Are you going to do it now, or you want to do it?
okay, now I think,
Yeah.
as the board president, I'd like to take this moment to thank Satira Mateen for her excellent student leadership on our board during her term in office. In addition to the resolution, we'd like to honor her with a commemorative plaque. Thank you for your dedicated service on behalf of the more than 40,000 students. On behalf of the South Orange County Community College District, we thank Trustee Sierra Mateen for her commitment, dedication, and service. And I know Sierra actually started a fund for international students, and the students could actually get money from this if they're international, and helps them in so many different ways. And this now is more important than ever. So she really did start that, and she's one of our best student trustees ever. So thank you, Satira. Okay. And so I present you with this plaque. Oh, so,
We have to vote.
I need to call for a motion and a second for this, so we could.
Second.
Yeah, so trustee Jamal makes the motion and trustee Whit Riddell seconds it. So we all can vote. This is the first time we're voting in 2.5 years on the screen, so.
Yep.
Okay,
We need a lot of hands.
the motion passed with a, it was a 6-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote.
7-0.
7-0 with the student advisory yes vote. Okay, thank you. Okay, now the next one, trustee Whit Riddell.
Resolution, Irvine Valley College Outstanding Full-Time Teacher of the Year. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College District do hereby commend and congratulate Emily Liu as the Irvine Valley Outstanding Full-Time Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
And I understand that these professors will be honored at their own colleges, so they're not here today. It'd be nice if they were, but they will be honored at their own colleges. And, you know, of course, we wouldn't be the great colleges we are today without our wonderful faculty, so we're very, very proud of our teachers. So I need a motion and a second for. Second. Okay, so trustee Inman makes the motion and trustee Jay seconds it. So please vote. There it goes, okay.
Takes a while.
Yeah, I don't, is he here?
There's a delay.
It's supposed to click someplace to see the final vote.
Just give it a second.
Go back to the presentation after you voted.
Okay. There it is, okay. So it was a unanimous vote, so it was 7 yes and 0 no, and with student trustee voting the advisory yes vote.
Okay, 6.3 resolution, Irvine Valley College Outstanding Part-Time Teacher of the Year. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College District do hereby commend and congratulate Annie Tran as the Irvine Valley Outstanding Part-Time Teacher of the Year.
Okay, thank you. So we need a motion and a second for this? Okay, trustee Jay makes the motion and trustee Whit Riddell seconds it. Now you can vote, please.
Where does it along? There it goes. It takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a while. It hasn't come up yet.
Stay here.
No.
So it was, the vote was 7 yes and 0 no, with the student trustee voting yes.
Okay, resolution 6.4, Irvine Valley College Outstanding Emeritus Teacher of the Year. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College District do hereby commend and congratulate Joanne Key-Shun as the Irvine Valley Outstanding Emeritus Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you. So we need a motion and a second for this.
So moved.
So trustee makes the motion with trustee Inman seconded. So now please vote.
It takes a minute for it to come up.
Well, the motion passed with a 7-0 vote.
Voted yet?
Yeah.
You haven't voted?
No, it just came up now.
Oh, okay.
You're looking at something different, because
It came up that everybody voted.
yeah, but that was the previous vote.
It was?
There's a lag.
Yeah, this is the same vote, right?
6.4.
It said everyone voted, you're right.
Well, we have now, but not when you said it.
Picky. Okay. The motion passed on a 7-0 vote with a student advisory yes vote. Thank you.
Resolution 6.5, Saddleback College Outstanding Professor of the Year. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College District do hereby commend and congratulate Farida Kradek Nova as the Saddleback College Outstanding Professor of the Year. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Is there a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Was it trustee Whitwell?
No, trustee Wright.
Oh, trustee Wright made the motion and trustee Jay seconded it. So now please vote.
It hasn't come up.
We're just used to the roll call vote. That's what we're used to.
Roll call is faster.
Yeah, what?
I don't know, I just, I'm learning.
There it is. Okay, so the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote.
Resolution 6.6, Saddleback College Outstanding Associate Professor of the Year. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College District do hereby commend and congratulate Jan Smith as the Saddleback College Outstanding Associate Professor of the Year. Congratulations.
Okay, do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Trustee Jay made the motion. Is there a second? Trustee Inman seconded it. Now everyone can vote, please.
Have to wait for that thing.
So the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote.
Resolution 6.7, Saddleback College Outstanding Emeritus Professor of the Year. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College District do hereby commend and congratulate Mike Ward as the Saddleback Outstanding Emeritus Professor of the Year. Congratulations.
Mike Ward teaches yoga, and he has classes of like 200 in a huge gym, so, and the students love him. So is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Trustee Jay makes the motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, trustee Whitwright seconds. So now vote. Thank you. Did everyone vote? Didn't come up. Well, I know, it didn't come up, but the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory. Who didn't vote?
You.
Oh, my God. Okay, okay, sorry. Thank you.
There's more moving pieces than there should be.
Yeah, this is all somewhat new. We haven't done this for 2.5 years. Okay, the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with a student advisory yes vote.
All right. Resolution 6.8, Classified School Employee Week. The Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of South Orange County Community College District do hereby recognize and honor and appreciate the many contributions of classified employees to quality education in California in our district and declare the week of May 15th to the 21st as Classified School Employee Week. I'm proud to share that. Congratulations.
Thank you. So we need a motion and a second.
So moved.
So Trustee Pendergast makes the motion, and who said the second?
Trustee Wright.
Trustee Wright says the second. And so now you can vote, please. Okay. Okay, so the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with a student advisory yes vote.
Resolution 6.9, Recognition of Earth Day Across the world, Earth Day is recognized on April 22nd of each year. To reinforce the district's commitment to protecting our environment, the resolution displays a strong statement of support for continued efforts in the areas of renewable energy and sustainability.
Thank you. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Okay, trustee Jay makes the motion and trustee Inman makes the second, and please vote. And this motion also passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote. So we can move to the next resolution.
6.10, resolution recognition is in recognition of April 24th as the Day of Remembrance for the Armenian Genocide. The resolution supports the reaffirmation that April 24th of each year is designated as the Day of Remembrance for the Armenia Genocide from 1915 to 1923, and that the Board of Trustees of the South Orange County Community College District encourages the college and all employees and students to commemorate this historic tragedy.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Okay, trustee Jay makes the motion, and is there a second? Trustee
Would you
Wright
like-
seconders?
Can I say a couple words?
Yeah, please say.
So as I think many people in this room know, this is an issue that's quite personal to me, and I think David Kachatrian as well. And I think to everyone, we're not just because we are Armenian. I am I'm a descendant of genocide survivors. My grandmother, Maxim Bahadurian, was born in Kayseri, in the heart of Armenian historic lands. She was able to immigrate, remarkably so, to the United States, to Ellis Island in 1923. Between 1915 and 1923, over 1.5 million Armenians were massacred by the Ottoman Turkish Empire. She lost 8 of her brothers and sisters were murdered between 1915 and 1923, and the passenger manifest that I've since discovered, she had herself, her mother, and her sister. We don't know what happened. Well, we know what happened to the other 8 brothers and sisters. They were murdered because of their ethnicity, because of their religion, and because of hate. And I really I want to thank this community college district for taking this principled stand. I thank all of you. I thank my colleagues on the board for stepping up and decrying this crime against humanity. And regrettably, ethnic cleansing, torture and mistreatment of Armenian POWs in their lands are still taking place as we speak by the government of Azerbaijan. So in our small circle of the world, I appreciate this, and I know many people around the world do as well. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee Jamal. Okay, so can you please vote on this, everyone? And the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with a student advisory yes vote.
Our next and last resolution, 6.11, resolution to designate April 28th as the Holocaust Remembrance Day in South Orange County Community College District. The South Orange County Community College District urges faculty, staff, and students to observe April 28th as the Day of Remembrance for the victims of the Holocaust in an appropriate manner.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there a motion and a
So
second?
moved.
Okay,
Second.
trustee Jamal made the motion and trustee.
Second.
Trustee Inman seconded, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, this is really important. I know many, many people who lost their life, people, relatives, friends, and it's not very long ago, people are still alive that survived these horrible massacres that took place for killing over 6 million people, so this is really, yeah, or 11 million people total, 6 million Jews, which is half the Jewish population in the world, and 11 million people in all. So it was a pretty, pretty horrific, which I probably could go into it for hours, but I won't go into it right now, but it is. Okay, so do we have, now we could take a vote on it, please? Okay, this motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote. Okay, well, thank you so much. Those were very meaningful resolutions to all of us. So at this time, we move on to 7.1, which is the Orange County School Boards Association Board of Directors interest form. So does TJ, do you want to continue on as the director of the OCSBA?
Sure.
Okay, great. I did it for 28 years, so when
You have a ways to go to catch up.
you have a way to go to catch up.
Yeah, I only have like 20 to go.
Yeah, that's all.
Here's your form.
So nice group of people, school board members and college board members, and just, well,
I won't be able to make, there's a dinner meeting this Wednesday that I
Yeah.
won't be able to make, but.
yeah, several of us will be there though, so I hear the speaker is wonderful, so we'll be there, we'll represent the district, okay? Thank you. Is there, would anybody else like to do it? We could have 2 people, but, anybody else like to do it? Probably not, okay, okay. Is there a motion in a second to have TJ Prendergast as our OCS?
So moved.
Okay, trustee Jamal makes the motion, and trustee Whitwell seconds it. Everyone, please vote on it.
Is the thing coming up to vote? I can't find. Where? There it is.
It hasn't come up yet. Well, okay. Okay, so it's, right now, the motion passed on a 6 voted yes, 1 abstained, trustee Prendergast abstained, and the student advisory vote of yes, even though I don't have the student advisory vote on my screen. It's not on here.
It's up on the top of the report.
Where?
You see it.
At the top, it says student advisory, yes.
This is the first.
There it is. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay, the next is our board policy revisions. There are 4 board policies and
There's study and review.
Okay, so
for
moved.
review and study. Okay, trustee.
Second.
Okay, thank you. And they just seem to be pretty performant. I agreed with them all. Do you have a question?
I do have a question on
Yes.
one.
Trustee Prendergast?
Yes, so let me just pull it up here on my screen. Let's see, where is it? Board policy 4109, basically deleting, based from the recommendation of the academic senate, which is fine. We're not giving finals anymore?
I already asked that question, but you could,
Oh,
would somebody
okay.
else like to answer? Because I did ask that question of the chancellor earlier.
Donna, I will be happy to answer that question. So, first of all, I think we need to clarify what we mean by a final evaluative project, right? So we're not talking the notion of comprehensive final exams where a student would demonstrate what they had learned over the entire semester. I don't think we have done that in decades, right? Some courses do have a final exam in this 2-hour period, but others have a final assignment that might be performative, right? If it's one of the arts classes, it could be a semester-long research project, and that counts as the final exam. So the notion of a 2-hour final, yeah, that's somewhat outmoded. So we are making that optional. It's not a requirement, and that also is consistent with Title V, right? Which the Board of Governors revoked the requirement. So our board policy and the revocation is consistent with state practice. I suspect this may come up, and I'm going to poach into faculty association territory. All faculty know that they are contractually obligated to be present for that 2-hour period. So we're not just dismissing students. If it's a class where there is a final assignment, maybe the papers are turned in and students discuss their research with their classmates, or something happens during that 2-hour period. So by eliminating the final exam requirement, we're not giving faculty 2 free hours and students 2 free hours. Does that answer the question?
I think it's wonderful because it's exactly what I've been doing in my class for about 8 years, but I just didn't know we did it at the community college level. Thank you.
I got the same answer from the chancellor, and I do recall when I took a design class in college a gazillion years ago, the final was to turn in something that we created ourselves, a design project that we made, so we didn't have to be there for the 2 hours. That was a lot of work, though, I remember. So, okay, so,
Vote, no, it's been moved. We already did a motion.
yeah, so everybody can please vote on it? There it is. The students, the motion passed on a 7-0 vote, and the student advisory voted yes as well. Thank you. And the next one is, the next 2 items are presentation and action. So these are the large items on the agenda, the student presentation, and then we'll vote on it afterwards. And the next one is the same process.
It's good to see you all again, presenting one more time for you all. My name is D'Angelo, and today I'm joined by Aisha Ahmed, our wonderful VP of Budget and Finance, and then my successor, the President-elect, Angelica Bustos, and we'll be presenting our 2022-2023 tentative budget. It's like, next. Thank you again for having us. This is awesome that we get to present it. We put a lot of work, and we're still working a little bit on our budget, so thank you for letting us present. So I'm just gonna point out the highlights before passing it on to the professional over here. As you can see, as we approach the fiscal year, we have $940,000 allocated, and our I'm saying this wrong, budgeted $940,000 for our 2022-2023 year. Our projected beginning balance is $680,000. And then our projected ASIVC access sales are $110,000. That's about tracking. And then we have a projected $150,000 in our bookstore revenue. And so I'm just going to pass it off over to Aisha.
Thank you, D'Angelo. Okay, so this is our ASIVC budget for the year 2022-2023. I'm just going to note some of the budget changes. So with our sources of funds, our beginning balance, we have a change of about $111,000, and that's reflective of us spending more money in our 21-22 year. So our ending balance is going to be less. Therefore, our beginning balance for the next year is also going to be less. Also, our bookstore commissions, there was a reduction of about $75,000, and that's reflective of us making our actuals our budget more closer to our actuals for the 21-22 year. And that's going to be $150,000 for our 22-23 tentative budget. Onto our uses of funds. So we have our ASIBC events and programs of about there's a change of about $49,000. And that's because we are taking money out of ASIBC events and programs and funding more of our student services things like disability awareness, sexual assault awareness, EOPS, CalWorks events, things like that. And then also a large percent of that budget change is because we separated our SRF section from the ASIVC events and programs. So even though it's separated, in both cases, they were still funded by that SRF fund. And then our contingency, there's a change of about $488,000. And that's because in our 21-22 adopted budget, our contingency included our HERF revenue backfill, which was a large amount. And then also, it also included our OCTA contract. And in the 22-23 tentative budget, our OCTA contract is under student life non-discretionary. So that's why there's an increase of about $114,000 in our student life non-discretionary section. Onto student services and scholarships. So there was a reduction of about $8,000, but that's reflective of our, there was a line item called student life special events as well as unallocated funds, and that was dissolved and redistributed among, in different parts of the budget. So that's why there's a decrease, but we did increase our student services section by around, I want to say like $14,000. So even though there's a decrease, that's more reflective of us changing some of the budget lines. And then, so yes, our total uses of funds is $940,000. Next slide, please. Thank you. So like I mentioned before, this year we are separating our student representation fee. So this slide is the 2022-2023 student representation fee tentative budget. So our beginning balance for the 22-23 year is $13,000, or about $13,000. Excuse me. And that is reflective of us, once again, spending our money in the 21-22 year. So our beginning balance is going to be a little bit less in the following. Also, student representation fees, $36,000. So our total sources of funds are around $49,000. We allocated about $22,000 to travel, $2,000 for their district administration fee, and then $24,000 to the state sheriff fees, which goes to the chancellor's office for our SSCCC representation. And then just to give a brief overview about what exactly the SRF fee is, it's an opt-out section for students, so they pay every semester around $2, or they can opt out. And it's in compliance with AB 1504. So students get to pay for us so that we can represent them at the state and a local level within different student body organizations. But yes, and then I'm gonna hand the mic over to Angelica Bustos, who is our future ASIVC president.
Thank you so much, Aisha. I'm going to be presenting the ASIVC accomplishments for the fiscal year 2021 to 2022. So ASIVC had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C., where we were able to participate in the American Student Association of Community Colleges. And we were able to not only network with other community colleges across the nation, we were able to advocate for many of our important college needs, and that including some that we actually submitted to the SSCCC by pronoun inclusivity, sustainability, students with disabilities, and the GI Bill. We were also able to talk to our local representatives, Mike Levin, Katie Porter, as well as our state of representatives, which is Diane Feinstein and also Alex Padilla. ASIVC is also committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in doing so, ASIVC developed a IVC Student Refugee Scholarship in response to the global issues happening. Also, ASIVC expanded student equity-based scholarships to increase student success. As well as ASIVC was determined to maintain student activities and engagement on campus. By doing so, we provided an online and in-person hybrid events throughout the academic year in order to promote student well-being and belonging on campus despite the pandemic. We also reached a record number of student election applications, which was 55, for the 2022-2023 academic year. And we reached a great deal of student interest and also student government and our clubs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's the end of our presentation. If you have any questions about any of our line items, please feel free.
Prendergast has a question first, and then trustee.
Yeah, I feel I'm taking the spot of former trustee Lang. So, the bookstore revenue. I'm just curious. I know we've gotten presentations in the past, and I know that there's a move toward free online texts. So the assumption is then that the bookstore revenue is going to decline. And I know there was a decline already due to COVID and all of that. So is there a contingency or an understanding that it will continue to decline, or do we have an idea? And I eventually will probably be asking the same question of Saddleback, but it's something that I think that it's important that there's a plan for it if that's something that we project.
Yes, so I'm not sure of like the specifics when it comes to bookstore, like what accounts for the revenue, but I do know that the main reason for our can you go to the slide, please? Here. The main reason for that reduction, so it was because that $225,000 in the 21-22 adopted budget. So that was reflective of the time where we had, where we were basing that number off of our previous guarantee that we had before, and that was changed. So our actuals declined, and then that's why our tentative budget is $150,000. So I know that is the main reason. I don't know fully about like what the bookstore revenue is.
So trustee Prendergast.
Well, and I guess then that begs the question, if your projected in 1 year was 225 and the actual is 112, why would we go up to 150? Is there a reason we believe it's going to go up?
Yes, so in the 21-22 year, we were mostly online because of COVID. And so the usual like foot traffic in general in the bookstore was at a low. And we are anticipating like more foot traffic in person in the upcoming years. So that is why there is an increase from our current actuals. And then also the actuals are reflective of up until March 31st. So that doesn't include the current month and then May as well.
So the bookstores have been, this gradual change to open educational resources has been going on for quite some time. And the bookstores have been changing with that. Not just our bookstores, but bookstores at colleges I worked at in the past. And they base a lot of their revenue now on snacks and so forth. So they do more than just sell books. But without the foot traffic, they wouldn't have gotten those sales either. So I think that they anticipate additional revenue from there being more in-person classes.
Okay, trustee Jamal.
Yeah, just a quick question. Board Docs doesn't allow us to do a request to speak?
Yeah,
I was wondering the same thing.
Oh, boy.
I think this is the first time we were using board docs in a meeting. We just started using board docs during the pandemic.
Okay. Really is old school up here. We're not as inept as it looks like. It's
No,
pretty
we're
pretty.
doing it for the very
it's
first
pretty
time.
clunky. Great job to all of you. Everything looks really good. My only question, and maybe you addressed it, but it looks like you have a slight decrease in revenues, and then a fivefold increase in expenses. So at least that's what I saw. Did I read it incorrectly, or is that the case? And if it is, then just be sure that you're being fiscally prudent, looking at the out years, not just this year.
Yes, so I guess to clarify your question, so our total sources of funds and our total uses of funds,
And that's what I'm calling revenue. So sources of funds, those are the revenues, funds you can use.
Yes, so it's $940,000 for,
Right, but I'm just saying fiscal year, your actual total uses of funds were 165,000 last year. And this year proposing, 900, to spend 940,000. So that's just seems like it's a big jump.
oh, okay, I see now. So, a lot of our like expenses that we were anticipating for the 21-22 year, was related to like ASIVC events that were supposed to be in person. However, we switched back to like online primarily in fall and then for a good portion of spring. So there was like a decent section that was like allocated towards events and programs that we weren't able to, fully meet because we couldn't hold events in person for a long time. And then also, let's see, our contingency, well, we didn't use that. I'm looking through the lines, 1 minute. Okay, so then also our co-curricular and instructional. So that was also like for similar reasons. Usually under that, we would fund like students, in clubs and like different programs for them to travel and things like that. But of course, like because of COVID, we weren't able to fund that activity.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, trustee Inman?
One slight question. I noticed, it seemed like a large amount to me that you have to give to the state group. How is that determined, and do all of the college districts submit that money? Is it the same? Is it based on size? Tell me more about that.
Okay, and then this is reflective of the state share of fees, correct? In the SRF fund?
Right.
So, yeah, so we are spending around $24,000 towards the state share of fees. And that goes towards the chancellor's office for like representation within SSCCC, which is the statewide organization for community colleges. I don't have the details as to how that is determined, but I can follow up.
I can answer that for you.
I think I know something too. You can answer
So
first.
when AB 1504 passed, it requires that you charge the $2
$2 fee.
per semester for the students, but as Aisha mentioned, there is an opt-out. $1 is required to be remitted to the state,
Okay.
and $1 is kept locally.
Okay, so they get half, and it's based on that $2.
Correct.
Do you have some statistics of how many students opt out and don't want to spend the $2? It's $2 a semester, it's like very little. Do you know, do most students agree to pay the $2 or?
I don't have those statistics. I don't know if
You have the-
if the students see it.
What?
Take the number of students, multiply it by 2, and subtract the action.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, we could just do it statistically. Yeah, you could do that. You're good at math, you could do that. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Right,
Thank
but
you.
it's for students who are paying fees, so all of the non-credit students it doesn't apply to, so this is really just our credit population.
Yeah, okay. So it's a fee, it comes from student fees, it doesn't come from, anyway, the students pay for it. And so, two other really quick things. First of all, I thought it was an excellent presentation, and I, it's, as I mentioned during my 2-minute board report, it's been a crazy year for students. Everything's been up and down, you've closed down, you came back, you had all kinds of extra stresses on you, so really did a really commendable job for all that. Did the HERF funds help replace some of the funds that you lost during the year?
Yeah, so we did receive like a large amount from the HERF revenue backfill.
Yeah.
And that was, it covered a lot of like the bookstore and then the cafeteria revenue that we would usually get.
Okay.
So it did help.
And then, mentioning the cafeteria and the coffee cart, of course, there's no revenue there. So are you expecting, now that things opened up, that to have some revenue now from the coffee cart and the cafeteria?
So our cafeteria contract is still being formed like within the district, so that's why in our presentation, we didn't include anything.
Okay.
But considering like there's expected to be more people on campus,
Yeah.
then I would assume yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Is that it? Okay, excellent report.
Great.
Great report. Yay. Very good.
Thank you.
The onus of going first, you got all the questions.
Yeah.
They were good questions. They were good questions.
Saddleback is like, whew.
Yeah. So we vote on it at the end of both,
Do we
okay?
vote now? After the second one? Okay.
A lot different being up here than sitting down there.
Yeah,
Good job,
isn't it?
good job to all of you. I'm gonna go off script a little bit here. I'm gonna make a comment in reference to resolutions 6.10 and 6.11. As a student of biology as well as history, I'm well aware of the fact that we need to remember, for lack of better words, the tragedies of the past in order to move toward a more optimistic future. And I appreciate the fact that the board chose to recognize the Armenian genocide and the Holocaust in order to move towards such a better future. And I just want to say that my optimism, in a weird way, my optimism that we are on the right path is affirmed. Now, I'm going to talk about money.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm Sam. By the way, I'm Sam, ASG president. Oh, thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can hear you great.
Okay, so there's actually a slight error on the slide. We actually had a 362,714 in our beginning balance carrying over from fiscal year 21 to 22. We have 165 grand projected from SNAPs, which is the ASG activity fee sales. About 40%, 40.72% of our contracted services revenue. We get 40.72% of the bookstores revenue. That's that statistic right there. As you probably well know by this point, we're committed to donating at least 20% of our total sources of funds to scholarships, whether that may be the Foundation General and Emergency Scholarships, Child Development Center, financial aid book, or the financial aid book scholarships. And of course, the contingency fund reflects about 6% of our total expenditures. This is a handy little device right here. Okay, so if you can see the screen, the left column is the adopted budget for the 21-22 fiscal year. Middles are actuals as of March 25th of this year, and the right is what we've got planned for 22-23, the tentative budget. Beginning balance, of course, that's going to be 500,034. Based off the statistic from the we've got about 70 grand from the bookstore as of March of this year. And we're looking pretty good with activity fee stamps, stamp sales, as I mentioned, 165 grand. Uses of funds a little lower because of COVID as of March. Campus that these are based off faculty and department requests. However, we are still pleased that we can donate 157, more closer to 158 grand to scholarships based off our beginning balance for the actuals for this year. Going over to the tentative budget, we're expecting a little bit less from the bookstore activity fee sales. Like I say, 165 grand right there. Campus life, that's variable. That's based off faculty requests, but I want to emphasize scholarships right now. Based off our beginning balance, we're glad to see that we can donate 121.5 grand to scholarships this year. Okay, so ASIVC went over this one a little bit. This is the student rep fee. This is the fee optional fee where students can pay $2. $1 goes to the state, the student senate more specifically, and $1 goes to us with some variation as you could see. Same setup here. We've got the adopted budget for last year on the left column. Middle column, we got the actuals as of March 25th of fiscal year 21-22, and on the right, of course, is our tentative for what we've got planned. So this is used primarily for travel advocacy and getting speakers to come to campus. So we're expecting 63, as of right now, we've got 63 grand for the student rep fee. Travel was a little bit light this year for obvious reasons. We've had COVID, we had the pandemic, and but I'm going to go into the tentative soon. But district admin, that goes to the district for processing purposes, and of course, the state share of fees, that goes to the Senate, the Student Senate for California Community Colleges, like ASIVC already mentioned. Tentative, I want to emphasize that we're optimistic that we'll be able to get things going with what I pretty much just mentioned, travel advocacy and speakers, because the worst pandemic at that point will be over. So we have a little more in there. We have 82 grand for travel and still 27 grand because in the state share fees because the dollar goes there. We had a good year. We had a good year in 21-22. Like present company, we attended the ASAC conference in Washington, D.C. We volunteered at the Cherry Blossom Festival there, helped set up for that pretty much once-in-a-lifetime experience right there. Alongside ASIVC, we worked on resolutions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine mandate, and we're working toward a plastic-free campus. Non-academic barriers, of course, we had a couple events. So we organized some alongside student development for Undocumented Student Action Week back in September, Trans Awareness with Ariel Savage, Black History Month, Women's History Month as well. We continued to work with the EOPS Helping Hands for the Holidays program. We helped to get gifts for 30 families with 51 dependents, which was good news. And of course, we continued the OCTA bus pass program to help students get to school. In regards to rebuilding the community, we, of course, as you may expect, helped re-engage students in not only student government, but also clubs campus-wide. The Mars Rover project, I believe that was mentioned earlier, we helped fund them. And we provided club funding to over 15 programs. Notably, in my mind, right here is Psi Beta Psych. We helped them get to Oregon for a conference, which is the Psychology Club. We assisted with and promoted in person in the virtual scholarship programming. I actually had the privilege to be, for lack of better words, speed sketched is, I don't know the term for it, but we had a lot of good stuff. We had an outdoor movie. We had Spider-Man No Way Home last week on Thursday.
Wow.
We had a couple spoken word artists ties in with the advocacy efforts. I want to reiterate, not one, but 2 outdoor movies, a lot of club rushes, and a bunch of singer-songwriters coming to campus. We had a good year. I'm all ears.
Are there any questions or comments? Okay, Trustee Prendergast.
Couldn't let you get off scot-free.
Yeah, no.
Of course.
All right. Actually, this is probably more a question for them. So earlier it was stated that it's a $2 fee, dollar goes to the
Local.
ASG for them to use for travel and so forth, and then the other goes to the state. Though looking now at your slide, there's a district admin fee. Does that go to our district? And so the state's okay taking that out, and so they're not getting the actual full dollar?
Correct, that's in the code.
Okay.
The legislation that was passed allows for the 7% admin fee to be charged.
Got it.
And so it is the net amount that half goes to the students, half goes to the state.
So the good news is that they get the lion's share of their half, whereas the state doesn't. Right, they get their whole half, but the state doesn't get the whole half, because our district takes 7% of the state's half.
It's the net.
So they take the 7%.
They take the,
divide that.
right.
Okay, so the state gets remaining after you
Yes.
so the state
Yes.
doesn't get the whole dollar,
Correct,
is what I
the
just said.
state does not get the whole dollar.
Thank you. Thank you for trying to make me be confused when I wasn't. Thank you.
No problem. Anything else?
Are there any others?
Yeah, well, just great
I-
presentation. Oh, did you want to go?
No, you could go ahead and I'll say something.
We're creatures
too.
of habit. Same question. Just looking at the budget, source of funds or revenues versus what you're spending. What are you, I'm just not totally clear. What are you projecting the surplus or carryover would be for the following fiscal year then?
We're working on that.
Okay.
We're in budget committee, we're working on that right now. This is just a very rough draft of what we've got. We intend to modify it. We're looking at some programs, that we might fund, we might not fund, depending on how we're looking with funding right now, with funding as soon as we fund everything else, so to speak. So it's this is just the general layover of what we expect, but we're working on fine tuning it, so to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you. It was also excellent. I know it was a really tough year, so it was excellent. I know Saddleback Student Government started the OCTA Bus Pass program. Do you have to pay for it now, or is OCTA still giving you the free bus passes?
As far as I know, we're still covering quite a bit of the expense. I can't quote if OCTA pays into it. I believe they do, but I don't quote me on that, so to speak.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I meant, do you have to pay OCTA to get the free bus passes for our students? So, it's okay, you don't have to
We
answer me
do.
now, we can
We
find out.
do.
Okay,
We do
okay,
pay them, yeah.
Okay, but that's a great program, keep the students out of cars, keep it better for the environment, better for the students to get free bus passes, so that's really excellent. And I've heard in the past that sometimes the student government has more expendable money to spend than the Board of Trustees had. But what you do, giving so many scholarships and supporting so many clubs and really so many activities for these students that are on a commuter campus and making them feel like they're part of the community is just so important to these students to make them feel like they're part of the campus, statistically, if students are active on a campus, they do better, they stay engaged, and they graduate at a much higher rate. So we thank you for all that. Okay, thank you. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, so do I have a motion and a second? Okay, Trustee Inman makes a motion. Second. I'll say Trustee Wright seconds it because I heard it second, and we have to clap for you because we clap for IBC. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Trustees, if I may go on a tangent, it's good to prove that I'm still alive after 5 months.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. So now you can vote. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you, trustees.
Thank you. It's still not on there? Da. I did switch screens. There it is, okay. So this was passed unanimously by the board, 7 yes, 0 no, and trustee, the student trustee had an advisory yes vote as well, so thank you so much. And right now, we go to the next large agenda item, which is the basic aid allocation recommendations. It's going to be a large item, but it's really important for us, and I'm looking forward to hearing the presentation.
So as they're getting set up for the presentation, would you like to make a motion in a second to extend the meeting? Because
Yeah, would
we're gonna
someone-
go beyond
Yeah,
9
this is a
o'clock.
long item, so would someone like to make, no, nobody wants to do it, okay, okay, trustee Inman makes the motion, okay. Is there a second?
If we extend the meeting until 9:30.
9:30, okay, thank you, trustee Inman, is there a second? Nobody wants to make a
I
second?
second it.
Trustee Wright seconded, and, okay, so we need to vote on that, please vote on that.
Oh.
This will extend the meeting to 9:30. Unless we vote no.
Let's vote no, then what happens?
Okay. Hasn't come up yet, but has everyone voted?
Yeah.
Well, Trustee Whitmire-Dell, you have to vote? I did. Oh, okay. Kristen said you didn't, but maybe you did. Did everyone vote now? Still hasn't come up. There it goes, okay, great. So the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote. Thank you.
guess we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
All right, great. Good evening, Board President Milchiker, fellow board members. My name is Medhani Ephraim, Executive Director of District Facilities Planning, and I have Connie here, who's the Executive Director of Fiscal Services here at the district office. So we're going to be presenting in person. We're excited to do it in person and to see you all in person. The only thing is I have to wear a suit, which is, yeah. But we're.
It suits you.
It suits you, you're right, that's funny, very good.
But it's honestly good to be in person, to be presenting this to you all. So we'll jump right into it. So the presentation today here, we have 4 different categories: projects that are going to be in design, under construction, completed projects, and upcoming projects. So we have quite a few projects here and quite a few slides, so I'll jump right into it. Our first project that we have here is the Science Math Building. It's one of 3 projects that are state funded. We're very excited about it. It's a little under 50,000 gross square feet in size. We're looking at design completion fall, really, but we're currently in DSA review currently. We're hoping to start construction fall of '22 with completion of construction summer of '24. Next project is the IVC Student Services and Student Union Building. This entails essentially demolishing the existing Student Service Center and the B100 building and redesigning the existing quad. So it's a very exciting project. This project is currently with DSA for review, hoping to complete in '22, spring of '22, construction start spring of '25, and construction completion of '27. So we're very excited about this project. The next project is the Saddleback at ATEP. This project is also with the DSA for review. It's approximately a little under 50,000 gross square feet. Beautiful structure. Looking to complete design summer of '22. Construction start is set for fall of '22, late fall of '22, and construction completion summer of '24. The next project we have in place is the Saddleback Landscape Project. This project entails addressing landscape at the 3 main entrances of Saddleback College, landscape at parking lot 13, and then the area south of the former temporary lot, lot 10, and areas between CDC and the stadium. So the construction start is summer of '22, right after graduation is done here this summer, and then completion spring of '23. The next project is Saddleback Softball Field and Parking Lot 12A expansion. This project will be demolishing the existing field, constructing a multi-purpose lawn, provide access from the football practice area, and creating a new parking lot 12A. So if you look at the rendering that you see in the picture, it's looking at it from the new parking lot, and we'll have EV charging stations set up. We are looking at completing design fall of '22 with a construction start spring of '23 and completing the project spring of '24. And currently we're on design. The next big project we have, an exciting one at that, is the Saddleback Quad renovation. This will address numerous ADA compliance issues that we have, renovate the landscape and irrigation systems, and address lighting and stormwater water management needs that we have there, and provide outdoor collaborative space needs that we have. The current status is that we're in design. We're hoping to complete summer of '22, design that is. Construction start would be spring of '23, and completion spring of '24. The next project is the Solar Canopy Phase 1. This is one of 4 phases that we're going to be doing at Saddleback. It's approximately 2 megawatts of photovoltaic panels that would be supported under parking canopies. Right now, we're looking at Lot 5 as Phase 1. So we're very excited about that. Again, this would be about 1/4 of the total capacity needed to get Saddleback to the net zero goal that we're trying to get to. Currently in design, looking to complete design late spring of '22, construction start fall of '22, and then completion summer of '23. So it's a quick turnaround. The IVC parking lot shade project, this project, for the most part, has been completed. The one piece that we've been waiting for is essentially Southern California Edison's portion, and they've been working on installing their gear. And they've told us by, I believe, May 19th is the date, where we're going to be connecting to their systems finally, where they'll be giving us a permit to operate. So we're almost the finish line with this one. We've been practically done with this, but unfortunately, Edison portion, it's taken forever. Next project is the IVC soccer and practice fields project, another large size project which encompassed the baseball field, varsity soccer field, soccer practice field, and the open area field that they have there at IVC. Everything has been substantially complete with the exception of baseball field. We've been working with the contractor to finish that portion of the project, and that's been somewhat slow going, unfortunately. So we've turned everything but the baseball field to the college. So the college is using the majority of the fields right now. So we're looking to be complete late spring of '22. Another, I think, good and important project is addressing all the ADA issues that we have at both IVC and Saddleback. These projects come from, I should say, the ADA transition plan that was put together a few years back, and so now we're slowly chipping away on all the deficiencies that came from that list, if you will. So we're on the verge of completing phase 1. The bottom picture is from the IBC Quad, and the top right is at Saddleback Fine Arts Plaza. So we're in the process now of actually creating the scope for phase 2, which will be probably beginning sometime in the spring on that. But the current phase, we're hoping to complete this spring. The next project is the IVC Arts Village project, and this is the second of 3, I guess, projects that are state funded. So we're very excited about that as well. The construction, it's under construction. These pictures are fairly new, so we're looking to complete this project summer of '23. And this is the final partially state-funded project, which we're very excited about. A little under 78,000 gross square feet here at Saddleback College, and we're currently under construction. We're hoping to complete this fall of '23. This project was, when we did our updates last year, we were finishing up, but we weren't quite complete. So this project has been completed, so we wanted to just update you all to let you all know it's complete. This is the PE renovation here at Saddleback College, PE 100 and PE 300. Next exciting project, we just gave substantial completion to the contractor on this project, and it's actually being used and classes being taught on. So this is an exciting, large project. It was 3, I guess, broken up into 3, the ATAS building itself, tennis center, and then the parking lot and connector road. Tennis center and parking connector road, that portion has been complete. The ATAS building, we just did substantial completion. So for this project is essentially complete. We're just finalizing and doing closeout with DSA. Upcoming construction projects. This one here, the Saddleback Central Plant project, is critical. A lot of people don't see our infrastructure. They don't see our central plants, but they're very important to our buildings. Our central plant here at Saddleback is pretty antiquated, to say the least, so it's time to upgrade it. And so the goal here is to demolish essentially the existing antiquated chillers and boilers, replace them with 4 new chillers, pumps totaling about 2,400 tons of capacity, and that's a lot. And we need that with the new buildings that are going to be coming online, which will provide not only the capacity, but also redundancy. We're also going to be adding a cooling tower to the existing 2 cooling towers that we have, and also adding 3 new electric boilers and pumps. We're looking to start design fall of '23, construction start spring '23, and then construction completion summer of '24. So these are upcoming projects pending board approval today. And the first one is the baseball turf and soccer replacement. So we're just going to be replacing the turf and the scoreboard here at Saddleback. We're looking at design starting summer of '22, construction start spring of '23, construction completion spring of '24. No, it's been, they didn't do the fields. They did yeah, so the field needs some great attention. And they're going from grass to field turf, so, or just turf, I should say. The next project, upcoming project is the greenhouse biology and horticulture. So it's another project we're excited about, enhancing greenhouse for joint biology and horticulture programs. The existing greenhouse by Science Math, we're going to be relocating that. It's not part of the existing Science Math project. So we created this project to be able to relocate it to the horticulture area. So we're looking at design completion spring of '23, start construction fall of '23, and then completing construction spring of '24. The next one, Fine Arts Promenade, Landscape, Hardscape, Coffee Structure. This project is essentially going to be upgrading this existing landscape and hardscape adjacent to the Arts Village area. So obviously pending board approval today, but once approved, we would be hopefully complete design spring of '23, construction start fall of '23, and construction completion summer of '24. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the Arts Village project. So as soon as that project is done, we're looking at starting construction with this project. Another important project is the Lot 7 temp permanent, changing Lot 7 from temporary to permanent. As you can see in the picture there's no sidewalks. It just doesn't look good. So we're looking at changing that as soon as we can. Design completion hopefully by spring of '22. Construction start, summer of '23. This is a quick turnaround, and construction completion spring of '24. And next, Connie will take us through the next set.
A little shorter than you. Good evening. It's nice to meet all of you. I'm Connie Kavanaugh. I'm the new Executive Director of Fiscal Services. I took Kim McCord's position, so I'm sure you're used to seeing Kim here. So I will walk you through the basic aid allocation recommendation. So as you all know, we have our District Resource Allocation Council, fondly known as DRAC, that meets regularly to review things in the spring. Part of what we review is what's available for our basic aid allocation for the coming year to make recommendations to the Chancellor. So I'm going to be sharing with you the recommendations, and the Chancellor has reviewed and supports the recommendations we're presenting tonight. When we determine what's available for our basic aid allocation, we start with what we're projecting to be our ending balance for this fiscal year, which is just over $29 million. We estimate our basic aid receipts for next year at $98 million. And of course, out of that, we take our contingency that we hold for potential unrealized tax collections. That's 20%. So the amount that we are recommending for allocation for the 22-23 fiscal year is just under $108 million. The components of that allocation are made up of, first we set aside our long-term obligations and our fixed expenses, and all of these I'll go through in more detail in the coming slides. Our capital project requests that are made and the requests made from our DTC for our technology projects. So the sum of all of those for this year equates to that $107,000. The long-term obligations that we set aside out of our funding, first is to fund our retiree benefits. That funding is determined based on our actuarial study. So that is the actuarially determined contribution for our retiree benefits for the 22-23 fiscal year. We have been making our pension rate stabilization program to our pension trust. That amount has been increasing slightly each year as the costs of our pensions have increased on an annual basis. We always set aside our credit card and bank fees. We have an upcoming election in the 22-23 school year, so we fund the trustee election. And again, that small amount for our legislative advocacy, so that totals just under $11 million. Next, we look at our capital project requests. Madhani's gone over all of these in detail, but the capital projects, I'll go through again these in more detail in the coming slides, are just over $62 million. We have an annual set aside for ADA improvements of $3 million, scheduled maintenance of $9.4 million, and other renovation and facility related projects of $4.1 million. So the total requests from our Capital Improvement Committee is just over $79 million. So our capital projects, which are reflected in our facility master plan, Madhani, as I said, reviewed a lot of these, and these are our annual amounts that were needed to meet our cash flow requirements for all these projects. They're not necessarily equatable to the actual total project costs. So the amounts that are recommended to be funded for 22-23 for each of these projects total the $62.4 million. Some of the big items, as Madhani mentioned, are the Saddleback, that ATEP building, the first Saddleback building there at ATEP, and our Science and Math building at Saddleback. Secondly, we have our ADA projects that we fund annually, $3 million. So we have pulled that out. And then next we have our scheduled maintenance projects, the total just over $9.4 million. Those are for regular scheduled maintenance and infrastructure needs on our campuses. We have other renovation and other facility-related projects. The main big ones this year are the Saddleback College quad renovation that Madhani discussed, and some of the additional rebuilds and the baseball turf replacement, et cetera. So that's just over $4.1 million. So lastly, we have our technology requests. Those are brought forward by our district technology committee. And I'll go into more details on the coming slides, but we have 3 different categories of technology projects that we have been requested to be funded that total just under $17.8 million. First, we have our Category A projects. These are district-wide services that are requested annually. So we build our own SIS system, our student information systems. So the funding required to continue that for next year is $1.8 million. Our Workday that we use for our HR and finance system, the request is just under $1.6 million next year. So the total for Category A is just under $3.4 million. Category B is district-wide supports. So these are projects that benefit both campuses and district services collectively. So some of the big projects under Category B are a firewall refresh next year, that's $1.2 million, and some implementation of some district-wide cloud services. That is $575,000, but collectively, all of those projects are just under $5.2 million. Category C represents the projects that are at the colleges, on the college campuses. So we have quite a few projects that have been requested this year that we're fortunate to be able to fund. We always have desktop refresh that's part of these projects. This year, both police departments have requested camera upgrades. That's just over $1 million. And Saddleback College has an outdoor learning environment request of $1.2 million. I'm not going to go through each one of these items, but there's quite extensive projects at the college campuses that are just over $9.2 million. Madhani's going to start off here on the future basic aid funding estimates and needs.
Great, thank you, Connie. So I, earlier kind of zipped through the projects, and we have quite a few projects. But I think here what we want to show and share with you all is give you all a 4-year outlook. The 4th column there, 22-23, are projects, or excuse me, the funds that we're requesting for 22-23. We also wanted to show you the outlying years, what that looks like. So if you look at the last 3 columns, those are the funds that we're requesting. So obviously, we're not going to fully fund a project. We break it up on how much we need every year. And this is what essentially is showing you. So the 4-year outlook here, I'm just going to zip through these. These are all projects we're going to be doing in 22-23 that we just went through right now. Here in this page, obviously, for example, Village Demo Phase 1, we're not requesting any funds in 22-23 because we're not doing anything. It's in the outlying years that we're requesting funds for. And then lastly, as Connie just mentioned, for 22-23, we're requesting a little over $79 million. And then in 23-24, a little $77.6 million. And then 24-25, $55 million. 25-26, $54 million. So we like to look at our cash flow every year and even outlying years to keep track of our projects and make sure we're in line. So that's the intent of this slide, these 4 slides. And last one, Connie will finish it off.
Sure. And then just to wrap up, we also want to look at our revenue projections that we have for the coming years to make sure we're able to meet the needs of both the capital projects and the technology projects. So our total revenue projections, these are based on an assumption that our property taxes, the secured property taxes, will increase 3.5% each year, and just assumes a flat enrollment fee revenue, so no increases in our enrollment fees. So then we take off of that the amount that we would need to allocate through our DRAC allocation model. And those amounts are increased and built based off of the anticipated cost of living adjustments that School Services of California recommends that we use in our out-year budgeting. So that brings us on the third line here, the net basic aid funds available for us to allocate. Again, we always back off the long-term obligations that we plan for in the coming years, which leaves us on line 5 here with the amount that's available for the basic aid allocations. So first we look to our facilities master plan that Madhani just reviewed, the cash flow projections that are built into that master planning. And we are in the final stages for our technology strategic master plan of finalizing those. So these numbers here, as indicated by the asterisk, are just projections at this point because we haven't finalized that plan. So when we look to the next 3 years after 22-23, which is really the next 4 years, it looks like for 23-24, based on the information we have available today, that we would have to make some adjustments to our planning in order to meet the needs for our facilities and technology. We wouldn't have adequate funds available, but when we look to the future years, we'd have more than enough based on our needs that we know of today. And I believe that leads us to questions.
Are there any questions? Okay, Trustee Jamal.
Just first a comment, you're talking about basic aid reminds me that today is tax day. Very, very painful day for me personally. The Trump tax increases on the constituents of this district have been very harsh. And I'm disappointed that the SALT deduction has not been reinstated.
That's true.
Despite our district's position on the issue, and other districts. But I thank the taxpayers seeing the basic aid report for what they provide to us. So, couple questions. One is, looking at the commercial real estate space, and I'm involved in it. What's happening, particularly in the office environment, is that because of accelerated by COVID, but you're seeing workspaces and buildings designed differently. And so that maybe the same amount of space, but fewer people are going there, more open space, more open air. And then coupled that with our situation where we possibly, more people in the district might be working remotely. And then there'll be the continuation of a hybrid learning environment for our students. How is that factored into your basic aid planning?
So I'll kind of do my best to speak to that because there's a lot going on with that question, Trustee Jamal, but I think it's a great question. From a design perspective, we're starting to try to be aware of that, obviously, and open space concept. I think the big thing was right when COVID hit was our infrastructure and technology. And so I think that was the biggest component we jumped on. And so we wanted to make sure, so I think that's one of the areas that we jumped on moving forward. I think it was good to begin with, but I think we really honed in on that to be able to address the hyperflex, I think is the word that's used today, to be prepared for that. But also outdoor concepts. I know the college has some, IVC has a couple of projects to where they're honing in on that as well. IVC, SSC, IVC, the student union has an open concept as well. So I think we're trying to address those as best as we can as they come, Trustee Jamal.
Okay, thank you for that. One other question is, and you touched on it a little, I think, in one of the project is whether we do it on our own initiative or will be required by AQMD or CARB, the use of zero emission appliances and equipment, heat pumps, water heaters. Are we factoring that into our decision-making going forward? Because we're going to have to do it.
We are. That's why, I don't know if you noticed at the central plant, gas was pretty much eliminated. And we're going almost all electric. And that's, any engineer that you talk to will tell you, get rid of gas. From a greenhouse gas emission standpoint, and especially here with our cogen plant, I mean, we're a big gas hog, if you will. I mean, so that was an easy thing to check, honestly, in our sustainability plan. We are going to be saving a lot by doing that. So yes, not just at the central plant, but also in our air handlers and the type of pumps that we use and all that. So yeah, absolutely. Those are honestly easy things that we can check off.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, Trustee Inman.
I have two questions. Wait. Sorry. The first one is, okay, when I was reading, it says that all of this money is to be used for one-time only expenditures, but then there's many lines that have to do with maintenance. How is that a one-time expenditure?
So I think you're alluding to the infrastructure type of projects, schedule maintenance type of projects, correct? I think is what you're alluding to. So each of those line items have sub-projects, essentially, Trustee Inman. In fact, the central plant project itself is coming out of one of those line items. And so consider, while it's multiple projects just within that one line item. So it is still essentially a one-time use.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
The other one is, are you planning electricity charging stations?
Yes. I mean, that's a big deal right now. So I remember last year, I actually watched our presentation from last year and talking about our EV charge stations. So we're actually finally past that hump at IVC. And so we've submitted our permits, essentially, not permit, applications. And there were 3 applications we had to submit at IVC, and we even did one at ATEP. So we're finally moving, and that program is Edison essentially pays for all the infrastructure up until the charge station itself. We purchase the charge stations, so we're moving fast on that.
Right.
And then here at Saddleback, there is a project that's coming online with the phase 2, 3, 4 of the solar. It's going to be included in that to address Saddleback's need.
Thank you.
No, that was like the last one.
Oh, no.
No, that is phase 2.
That is phase, it is. We actually did a study to see where is the best location, because there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to go to get to the parking lots. So we did a holistic study with an engineer that we hired, and they essentially said, these are the best locations, and if you do it here, it'll be the least expensive, if you will, to do it here. And that's how we selected the location. So lot 9 is one of them. Or 13.
Well,
13, excuse me.
We'll wait. Okay, thank you. Any other question? Okay, Trustee Jay.
I was wondering if we could have a tour of all these new things that are coming on. IVC and Saddleback, the trustees could have a tour.
Sure. I think last year, this time we presented, and I believe Trustee Jamal asked for a tour, and we did that, and I thought it went well. So absolutely.
I would like that again.
Sure.
Thank you.
Great, wonderful, super.
But
Thank you.
commencement.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, after commencement.
Anytime, just
Sure.
so we can get a tour.
Absolutely.
And did it look like they're putting trees in the middle of the Saddleback College quad? Is that?
Well,
That's
so
what the
the-
picture looked like. I said, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely going to get redone, and it has to. So we have to regrade it, and by regrading it, we have to literally take everything out,
Yeah.
put new sidewalk, not asphalt, but actual ADA compliant sidewalks.
Yeah.
We have some water mitigation issues from our, the gutters and water, so we need to address that as well, make sure we have to collect it potentially. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of work that's going to happen in a matter of a short period.
Okay, I'd like.
But
to-
yes, there's going to be a lot of trees.
Really, I'm not sure that's a great idea, because the quad is a nice area where students gather, but we could talk
Yeah.
about that.
Sure,
Okay,
sure,
okay.
sure.
So,
Okay.
Trustee
What?
Milchiker, part of the new state green code
Yeah.
requires shade trees.
Oh, they do.
So anytime we're
Okay.
renovating landscape or anything like that, we are required to put in some shade trees, as well as the conduit for electric chargers
Do they
and a
requ-
percentage of the chargers.
Do
So
they require like native plants, like native trees, or I think I would advocate for that, but,
they don't require, they don't get into the planting detail,
Yeah.
but they want shade trees. They are looking towards more drought tolerant, so we're having to look at the water usage, when we are doing landscaping projects and that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. still, of course, want the quad to be a nice area for students to gather in, and so, but shade trees are not.
The
are a
quad
good
has
idea.
gone through many revisions, but it has been a full consultation on the Saddlebike campus.
Oh,
So all
excellent.
of the constituents have had a look and a say at it, and
Good.
I'm sure Dr. Stern can give you much more detail, but I think the campus is very pleased with the design that we've ended up with.
Oh, excellent, and low benches or low walls for students to sit in and gather on, and, it's kind of, anyway, that's what I would suggest. From things I've read about, spaces that are really advantageous to students and to other people. Okay, well, thank you so much. And this is a question you don't have to answer right now, but I'd like to find out, the trustee election cost, is it less for the district now that the students are running, now that the trustees are running in trustee areas rather than at large?
I think some of that remains to be seen. We've just
Okay.
projected based on past historical costs, and it depends on
Okay.
how many, obviously, seats are open for elections. So.
Yeah, well, there's always the same number of seats, but we're obviously running in a much smaller area, so,
Right.
It should be cheaper though,
It should be cheaper.
because
think it
you're
should.
only having certain trustees in an area running each
Yeah.
year. And it's so, currently they pay per, like, the total residents, so even though we have trustee area, it's still a general population. And so now that it's just the trustee area, it'll just be the people in those in that area voting,
Yeah,
rather
so-
than the
so
general population,
you're
so
running-
it should be a
you're
little
not-
bit cheaper.
You're not running 3 elections that are the whole million people in the district. You're running 3 elections that are 1/7 the size of the general election, so it seems.
We should
like it
have
should
some
be less
savings,
expensive.
but we'll
Yeah.
see this year.
Right, we could adjust that after we realize
Okay.
what the actual cost
Okay,
is.
just wondered that. Okay, thank you. Well, that was an interesting project, so, trustee Whit-Rydell.
Yes, I have a question. I saw a movie once and it said, if you build it, they will come. And I really was impressed with this presentation, all the work that was put into it, and thank you for the visuals very much. It makes me closer to the project. But when I was thinking about it, I was thinking about students. And I'm thinking about how many students are we going to get to come on campus to use all these wonderful facilities, or are we going to go more online? And I think, is it time for us to do a district-wide survey from the students? I know we've done other smaller surveys, but is it time now or should we wait? But it did come to me, and it lies heavy on my heart to think we're doing so much and we will have 60% of our students online? I don't know. So I'd like to ask the district or administration, have we thought about that? Because I don't know if that movie's right anymore. So I'm asking.
That was Field of Dreams.
Yes,
It
I
was
know.
a very specific reason for
I
building it.
understand, I was just making fun.
We do a student survey every other year, and we could probably incorporate some of those questions into that survey.
Yeah, and I even wrote down, how would you like, to the students, how would you like the modality of learning? And then we would rate, or we would, it's hard to track this, I know, but those who took online, how many completed, who stayed on campus, it's easier for that. I'd like to know those statistics because we're doing so much and it's awesome, but I just want them to come.
Well, and recall, some of the buildings that we have, like the math and science is a replacement for an existing building.
That's correct, yeah, I
And there's
understand.
some of that has to be done.
Yeah, but I think that survey, am I right that it should be sooner than later? Or should we wait? I don't know, what do you think?
I just want to say that we've done 2 surveys during the pandemic, and President Hernandez and I were just talking that they proved to be fairly inaccurate of actual student behavior. Things are changing month by month, so when 60% of students told us they wanted to be on ground, only 50% actually enrolled by the time enrollment came. So I think the succinct answer to your question is we might want to wait until people feel very stable
Okay,
with where we
I'm
are.
just asking. Mhm.
But if I could just add one more thing, and that is, we hope that we're designing our buildings so that they will support both a virtual environment and an on-ground environment. That is to say, lots of high-flex classrooms that are outfitted to see students in the classroom and lab, but to also accommodate students who are online as well. Same with student services. We want all those services to be available online, but we still have to build the same space to offer those services on ground for those who are on ground. It's hard to save a lot of space when an additional 10 or 20% of your students go remote.
I think it's a great question. I know anecdotally, I see IVC and Saddleback students all the time in the community. A lot of them are working jobs. Mostly, I see a lot of service sector jobs, and I talk to them, and informally, it's a mix. Students I talk to would assume they want to be in person, tell me they'd rather be online. So I think you're raising a really good point.
Okay, thank you. So there are no more questions? Okay, we're right, we do need to, so.
All right, Jim. Give Jim the gavel.
Okay, here, we need a motion and a second for this agenda item to pass it?
I move.
So trustee Inman makes a motion.
I second
And
it.
trustee Jay seconds it. Now, please vote.
Janice is waiting in the car.
Hasn't come up yet. Has it come up yet? Oh, trustee Whitwright-Dell, you have to.
Did.
I didn't see it.
I'm going to start a draft Granicus movement.
You know the problems I have with my iPhone.
It didn't come up.
Oh, there it goes, okay. Thank you for voting. The motion passed on a 7-0 vote with student advisory vote of yes, so thank you. And now we're moving forward to the consent calendar. Are there any items anyone wants to pull from the consent calendar?
9.9?
9.9, contracts? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other one? Okay, can I have a motion and a second for the rest of the consent calendar with the exception of 9.9?
So moved.
Trustee Jay makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Inman, a second. Okay, please vote for all items except for 9.9. Thank you.
Where's that pen?
We can't.
Didn't come up yet. Did yours come up? Mine didn't come up. There it goes. Yes. It takes a while to bring it up. Did everyone vote? Okay, there it goes. Okay, the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote. Trustee Jay, do you have a question on item 9.9 contracts?
Yes, it's number 10. A Dream Student Services is to provide international student recruitment services in China for $30,000. I wanted to know a little bit more about this. Why $30,000 and why we're recruiting in China?
So this is a not-to-exceed contract that covers a 5-year period. And we are using recruitment services to identify international students who may want to come to the United States for classes. And they only get paid if the student actually comes and attends class.
Well, China's eating our lunch economically. We might as well take some of their money and bring their students here. So I think it's probably money well spent at this point if we can yield some results.
Yeah, international students are a good source of revenue for us.
Okay. Understand.
So are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion in a second for that item?
So moved.
So trustee Jamal makes a motion. Is there a second? Trustee Inman makes a second. Okay, please vote. And that's item 9.9. Okay, so the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote. Thank you. And yeah, the next item is item 10.1, which is the award of professional services agreement for Graham Leach Biley Act Consulting Services and Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard Consulting Services for Clifton Larson Allen LLP, and I did look at the information. Okay, is there a motion and a
So moved.
second?
Second.
So
I'd like to have
trustee,
a question.
yeah, trustee,
There's been a motion in a second.
yeah, trustee Jamal makes a motion, and trustee Jay seconds, and now trustee
I have a
Whitmer Dell has a
question.
second.
Anne Marie, I think it would be to you. I looked at the Exhibit A, and I'm always thinking that we are looking at the lower costs, and did I read something wrong? I don't know why CWDL or WT did not get a request.
No, the second one did not get the cheapest one, the least expensive one.
I understand that. That's why I'm saying CWDL, were they, what are they called? Certified Public Accountants? You just weren't happy with them? There's quite a difference.
So CWDL was interviewed. The committee chose to interview 3 of the firms.
Okay.
So, and when they sent out the folks for the interview, I think the committee just wasn't convinced that they had the expertise needed for, these are very specialized services, and so not all auditing firms do it. So for instance, Eide Bailey, who we're using for our independent audit services, they don't even do the PCI DSS consulting. So that's why they're not on there. And so I think the team that went through the process of reviewing all the proposals as well as interviewing the firms, they felt most comfortable with CLA. And so that's kind of why the recommendation is to go with CLA on that.
Had we used them before?
Yes. There are previous independent auditors, and we have been using them. So both of these services are relatively new, the GLBA as well as the PCI DSS. So we have been using CLA for the past 1.5 to 2 years on these, and so it would also allow us some continuity in the services until we kind of get all of our processes and procedures in place for these 2 consulting services and auditing.
Yeah, because they were the most expensive.
Well, when you look on the average, the hourly rates, and that was kind of why we put the hourly rates in there, they're not the most expensive. They're kind of middle of the road from the other firms that proposed when you compare the hourly rates.
I accept your decision. We just looked it over.
And it looks like that these are to help protect, to give security to our networks that are for payment of credit cards. So, I mean, I was just listening to a program yesterday that was saying that Russia, for example, is trying to infiltrate so many systems and trying to break into them. And so is this kind of company to help secure our systems so that they're not in any way at risk for a bad actor to infiltrate the system and try to get their credit card numbers or whatever?
Yes, they're helping to review what we currently have and to provide recommendations on how we can improve things. And I think Jeff Doors is still here.
Yeah.
He's actually the one that deals with them. So
Okay.
Jeff, you want to give more context for them, please?
Hello? Oh, is it on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I was actually one of the members on the committee that looked over the different firms, and like Anne Marie said, CLA, they've done this type of work for us. They're actually currently doing some PCI work for us. And they had the most expertise for California community colleges. Some of the others had expertise, but not in higher education. So CLA seems to be the best option for us. So that was that piece. And then Trustee Milchiker, your question was, could you repeat it?
Well, it was, worrying a little bit about cybersecurity at our district, because these firms are helping us when people use credit cards to, pay for their fees and things. These are securing them to make sure that there won't be any breaches in their confidentiality. So, are these firms working to make sure that we don't have any bad actors kind of break into our systems and,
Yeah,
which I understand firms it's being done now,
Yeah, absolutely. So PCI, payment card industry, right? So for us to process credit cards, we have to follow those regulations. So CLA is helping us make sure that we are securing cardholder data. Graham Leach Bliley, GLBA, in the past, it's been focused on financial institutions, so banks, right? But within the last, Henry, I think maybe 3 years or so, we've been wrapped into that. So obviously, if you think of banking versus a community college district, there's a different level of security there, right? But the nice part of that is because we are working on GLBA compliance, that's going to help our overall security. So GLBA is financial, security of financial information. So yeah, there's going to be value in just being PCI compliant and GLBA compliant to our entire infrastructure as well.
Yeah, making sure that we're secure.
Yep.
Okay.
And this is
That's
really
cybersecurity. Okay.
just part of the refinement of our overall security posture in the district.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, do we have a motion and a second on this?
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
And then we
Oh,
already
we
do.
already have it.
Okay, we can vote now, okay? Please vote. Thank you.
So there are 8 minutes left.
I
If
know,
you
sorry
don't
about that.
believe that we
Good
can
point,
complete
good
the
point.
meeting in 8 minutes, we'll need a motion and a second to extend the meeting.
Okay, I think we need a motion and a second, just in case.
Can't
Okay.
get my mouse thing.
Trustee Inman, you makes the
you're okay.
motion? Okay. You get a bad rap.
Okay, I move that we extend the meeting,
Hold on.
I guess you say till 10.
Just say it till 10, yeah.
Okay, till 10, okay. Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, thank you. And, okay, please vote on that, and the last meeting was passed unanimously. Thanks.
Is it
The last,
ready? Yeah. She has
the
to
last-
type it in.
yeah, the last item was passed unanimously, excuse me. It was made by trustee Inman, seconded by trustee Jay. Okay, now we can vote on it, right? A little slow.
It is slow.
It's slow. Okay, it was passed unanimously. Motion passed on a 7-0 vote with student advisory yes vote. Thank you. Now we move to the academic employee and classified administrator personnel items. Vice Chancellor Viscachill, are there any changes to this one?
No changes.
No changes, okay. Do I have a motion and a second for this?
So moved.
Okay, it's made by trustee Prendergast, second by trustee Wright. I just want to mention 3 longtime employees that are actually, it was already mentioned, but 3 employees that are retiring. Doug Barr, counselor for Saddleback College. He really works with the nursing students a lot, over 30 years and 11 months. Gary Luke, the English instructors, English great guy too. They're wonderful people. 32 years and 9 months. And Mark McGrogan, it was mentioned earlier what a great guy he is. A kinesiology and health instructor and the soccer coach and badminton coach at IVC, which is very popular there. 27 years and 8 months. Okay, we can now vote on it. Okay, thank you.
Wait.
Do you have that readout?
Oh, do you have to read something out? No, you don't? Okay.
Oh, my apologies, there is a contract on this one. For Dr. Diane Pestalacy.
Yeah, who's going to be here
Yep,
temporarily?
Hang on one second, let me grab that. She is actually currently employed as the acting dean of health sciences. She is on a 50% reduced assignment. She is a STRS retiree. She is range 22, step 8, $115,062 annually. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now we can vote on it, right?
We did.
Oh, we did, okay. Okay. Okay, so, let me see. So thank you for the readout, and the motion, I don't have it up here yet. Oh, Trustee Wright, you have to vote, okay. Did everyone vote? Yay, okay, great. Okay, the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with student advisory vote yes. And then the classified personal action, is there anything?
No
to
changes,
blur?
thank you.
No changes? Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
So trustee Jay makes the motion a second, trustee Inman makes a second. You could all vote now. Let's-
We can't vote until the thing comes up. Where is it?
Okay, the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote. And the next item is the technology and learning service action items. And these are just informational items.
No, not the
No.
calendar. You have
Oh,
the
no, I'm
calendar
sorry,
to
I'm
vote
sorry.
on.
The next one is the academic calendar. So,
Review and study.
for review and study, and it's item 12.2, the academic calendar for review and study. So we don't really need a motion on it.
We
You do need a motion,
So
okay.
moved.
Okay, so moved, trustee.
Second.
Okay. Trustee Jamal makes the motion and trustee Prendergast seconds it.
Is there any discussion?
Are there any discussion on the academic calendar, which is something very important for our colleges, but I'm glad the colleges agree to the academic calendar? Okay, so please vote on it.
There it is.
Okay, the motion passed on a 7-0 vote with the student advisory yes vote. And the next item are informational items. So I'll just read them out because they're the monthly financial status report, the quarterly financial status report, the basic aid report, the higher education emergency relief fund or HERF funds, the COVID-19 response block grant, the retiree OPEB trust funds, facilities hand report, and then there's those 3 wonderful written reports from our 2 college presidents and the chancellor. And then, Chancellor, do you have anything you'd like to say beyond the written report?
Not this evening.
Okay, the next one is Irvine Valley College President John Hernandez. Do you have something to say beside your very excellent written report too?
Thank you, Trustee Milchiker. I just want to take a moment. Tonight, under consent items, the curriculum, you approved a new course in gender studies at IVC, LGBTQ plus studies. I want to congratulate Professor Jamie Poster, Professor of Film, Media Studies, and Gender Studies, along with her colleague Brittany Adams for shepherding this through our curriculum process. This particular course, I believe, will add to the rich, robust set of offerings that we have in gender studies and ethnic studies that, in essence, provides core competencies for our students, not just to meet GE transfer requirements, but for many of our students to see themselves in their curriculum, to provide an opportunity for all students to learn the rich history and contributions of diverse communities, and equally important, provides cultural affirmation for so many of our students.
That's excellent. We really, our colleges are so incredibly wonderfully diverse. I just love going to them. Thank you so much. That's excellent. Thank you. And then President Dr. Elliott Stune, do you have any oral report?
Just very briefly, I want to congratulate Michelle McDougall-Jackson, the new classified Senate President at Saddleback. I want to congratulate our 3 exceptional faculty, all 6 for the district, of course. And finally, apropos of Dr. Lovett's remarks, I also want to congratulate the 800-plus faculty at Saddleback who are exceptional every day in the hearts of their students. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you so much. Excellent. Okay, thank you. And then I'll ask the other, Vice Chancellor Gable, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Yes, please, just real quickly, I just want to remind the board that we are moving forward with ATEP tenants. We now have 2 tenants that have passed that have entered into the planning phase. So we have non-refundable deposits from 2 of them, which the first one is PJRJPA Ventures LLC, which they will be building a Goddard preschool on site using about 1.44 acres of the site. And then we have Advantech, which will be leasing 9.73 acres that will be there. So the construction period for the Goddard School should begin on or before August 10th. And the construction period for Advantech should begin on or before October 11th. So it's very exciting that we actually have 2 tenants in the planning phase right now. And then as we heard tonight from our public speakers, we're in negotiations on the access and option agreement with Southern California University of Health Sciences.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm very excited about this. A long time coming, but now it's coming beautifully. So thank you so much. That's great. Okay, Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, Dr. Cindy Viscacho.
Yeah, thank you. Briefly, I want to thank and acknowledge the 2 academic senates, IVC and Saddleback College academic senates. I don't get to work with them very often, unfortunately, but we just finished completing and putting together what we believe will be a long-standing faculty internship program that will kick off in the next academic year. And I'm just excited to join with the academic senates. It's a DEI-focused program, and we appreciate their efforts.
Excellent, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things going on at the colleges. Thank you so much. Well, the meeting is adjourned, so thank you. Thank you for.